Hello and welcome to this video on Python variables. In this video we'll be looking at the basic introduction of what is a Python variable, how to use it, how to declare, how to make use of it in an equation, how to print it, and also what are the necessary rules that you need to follow when you're declaring and using a Python variable, right? So without further ado, let's get to the coding. So let's open the Visual Studio Code, and I've created a new file called variables.py. So we'll be coding here. So before getting into the coding, we need to understand what a variable is. So in mathematics, variable is a placeholder for a range of values that can be taken by that particular variable, right? So variable is something that we don't know the value of, but we can give some value to it. For example, I have a variable, let us say a, right? So in Python, I will assign a variable, say a value of, let us say for me, a is equal to 5, right? It is mathematically, if we are going to give a value to a variable, let's say a, so this will be how we will write. And surprisingly, even in Python, they use the exact same notation for giving a value to a variable. So right now, a, as if I hover over this a, I can see that that is given as variable of a, right? So a is given as 5. Now once I give the value of a as 5, and wherever I use the letter a, the a will be substituted with the numerical value of 5. For example, let us say a is equal to 5 and I want to print a, right? So if I'm printing a, without a person who doesn't know Python might not understand, if I print a, it can print the actual alphabet a, right? But we know that it is a variable now, and wherever we use a, what will be substituted is this 5, right? So what I'm basically giving is print 5. So once I give print a, I will run this program. So the name is variables. Yeah, I'm getting the output as 5. So what does this mean? I can give a any value, right? So I can give a as 5, I can give a as 2.0. Let's see what happens. I will run the program and I'm getting 2.0, right? So wherever I'm using a, I am having this value substituted by the value that I'm assigning it to it. So that is how a variable works, right? So I'm going to use this in a mathematical equation and let's see if it makes sense. So let us say we are building a program to find the sum of two numbers, right? So I have a number 1, that is n, let's say a. So a is 3 and I have another variable b. So b is 2, right? So a is 3, b is 2, and let us say c will be the sum of a and b, right? So how do you write the sum in mathematics is we write it as a plus b, and undoubtedly even in Python this is the same syntax that we are going to follow. So the variable that we need to assign the value to will be on the left hand side of the equation, and the value for which the variable that we're giving will be on the right hand side of the equation, right? So variables will always be on the left if you are assigning values to them. So I'm assigning 3 to a, I'm assigning 2 to b, and I'm calculating what a plus b is, and I'm assigning the answer to c. And if it is a little bit confusing for you, we can use brackets here. That is not a problem at all. But with or without brackets, the logic remains the same. A plus b will be calculated and the resultant answer will be stored in C, right? So if I want to print C, so I should be getting 3, 2, and now a plus b is 5, C should be 5, right? So when I print C, I should get 5. Let us check it. So save the program and Python variables.py, and yes, I am getting 5. So now I hope you understand how a variable works in a very basic manner, right? All right. So now we've done the code part. So the next topic that we need to be discussing is, before we are going to write the code, we need to understand how to name a variable, right? So A, B, C are all harmless names, right? So if you are writing a very big program, let's say it involves some 50 variables, so then we cannot be using A, B, C, D alone, right? So we need to give some meaning to the variable that we are using. For example, if I'm going to have let's say a cost price and a selling price, and I need to calculate my profit, right? So I would be naming the variable as cost price, and cost price is equal to, let's say, 100, and selling price is equal to, let's say, 120, and my profit is equal to, so it would be, since selling price is greater, it would be selling price minus cost price, right? And it's profit. So selling price is greater and cost price is lesser, so this is how we subtract and we get the profit. So this is a very simple naming convention that we are following. So what I've done is cost underscore price. So there's a reason why I'm using underscores here. So to understand that, we will go into a set of rules that help us to create a variable name without getting errors, right? So this is the set of rules that we will be using to create a variable. So the first rule would be, a variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. For example, I cannot use the variable as 1n, right? As you can see, there is a red color error symbol here. So 1n is equal to, let us say, 7, right? So all my other part of the code is clear, there is no error here, but as you can see, there's an error here. 1 cannot be the starting of a variable, or 1 cannot be a starting of any line, right? So this doesn't make sense in Python, so we cannot use that. And the next rule would be, a variable name cannot start with a number, right? Yeah, so that is what we did now. A variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. And a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. Yeah, so a variable name, for example, I can have my variable name as n1. n1 is not an issue. n1 is equal to 5. So it is starting with a letter and it has alphanumeric characters. Now I can't have my variable name as n dollar, right? So dollar is a special character. I cannot use this as name of the variable. So Python is still showing an error. So that is one thing that we need to mind. So we'll go to the last rule. Variable names are case sensitive. Age, capital AGE, and capital AG, capital A, capital G, and capital E are 3 different variables. So can we check that now? So I have age is equal to 5 and age is equal to 10 and age is equal to 20, right? So I will erase all this. I don't need it right now, and I will print my, let's say we'll first print age, right? So I will run the program. I haven't saved the program yet. Yeah, the program is now saved. I will run it again. So I'm getting 5. So age is 5 now. And if I change to age, I haven't saved it again. I'm getting 10, right? So, and I'll change it to A, capital G, capital E. Okay, and I'll save the program and I will run it again, and it is 20, right? So every time I change the case, and I've given I've changed the case and I've given them as 3 different variables with 3 different values, and I'm able to access each variable by using that particular case, right? So we can understand that Python is case sensitive. So let us review what we have seen. So a variable name cannot start with a letter or underscore character. It cannot start with a number. And a variable a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. So that is why I had used an underscore in cost price selling price example. And variable names are case sensitive, right? So I cannot give it as cost space price is equal to, let's say, 100. So this doesn't make sense because this cannot be read as a single variable. This will be price equal to 100, and what is this cost? That there's no relation between cost and price. That is what Python will understand. So once I give an underscore, yeah, now it makes sense, right? So I hope you understand the rules for creating a variable and what a variable is and how to use it, right? So we'll be using this in a lot more examples in the coming videos. Thank you for watching. Let's see in the next video.